Hey guys, what's up? My name's Theo. Play middle linebacker, go over some Hurricanes. That's in the Netherlands. That's in Europe. I live in Amsterdam. Welcome to the channel. This video is going to be a bit longer because I'm going to talk about some research stuff in the news section. Every Mondays and Fridays I do football related content. Monday is more of a whole day in the life sort of thing, as practice is early in the morning and and it's at 11 a.m. But considering it, I have to leave here like 9 to get there. Anyways, but if you want to see anything more during those Monday videos, be sure to put it down in comments. I don't film a lot of stuff that to me is a day-to-day boring stuff, but you guys might not be. Anyways, and then the Friday videos like this one is comment responses and news, which I don't think we have any new news because our season isn't until the next calendar year. So we had a lot of news before because like the general meeting of the league happened, but now it's like we're just sort of practicing and doing stuff until stuff. So we don't really have a schedule right now. So we're probably going to talk about Panthers and then more NFL stuff than the Netherlands league. Okay, going back a week. Click off the responded because a lot of these comments I do respond to in text. All right, what do I got? 8 days ago. Okay. I remember doing Micah Hutcherson's last one. So while I was at practice, I got, hey, I'm going into playing my first football season this year. Did it hurt when you first got tackled? Me, not the first time, because I'm wearing pads. Although it was the wake-up call to realize it's not going to hurt that much. Have I had ones that hurt? Yes. Because sometimes a light tackle and a heavy tackle are different things. It's not just a tackle. For instance, juice. Juice. Did it suck drinking juice for the first time? This is orange juice. This is apple juice with ginger in it. Did it suck? When you drink this one, you might think it sucks, but then you drink this one, and while it is bigger, it may not taste as bad. Whereas this little one, depending on where you get hit, per se, can suck a lot. Like, if you get tackled here, or whatnot, it can suck. If you get hit in the leg, maybe not, because you have your thigh pads. But if you get hit on the ribs, it might suck a bit more, because you get winded. Again, just because you get tackled hard doesn't mean it sucks. Just because you get tackled a little. So my first time, no, it didn't hurt. I have had ones that hurt though. They are a bit jarring at first, but part of the idea is getting hit for the first time is it decides your football after a fashion. If you want to tackle hard, if you do the tackle and it like it does that, then you should probably move more towards the center of the field or be like a strong safety, be in the box, or running back or fullback. Tight end even, I don't know how big you are. Baseball is my property. But if you're just like, okay, that's a thing that happens. I still want to play the sport, but I don't want like receiver, cornerback, quarterback, kicker, punter. Be further away from the center of the field. But yeah, are they going to hurt? Yes. Are they also not going to hurt? Yes. Again, with the juice analogy. One is juice, or they're both juice, but just because it's smaller doesn't mean it hurts less, and just because it's big doesn't mean it hurts more. Tom, football uniform suit up, same video thing, says this is so clean. Hard at that one, because why not? Nim6, on last Friday's video, how many visors do you have? I have one on this decorative. So we're not going to call it a non-authentic or a replica helmet. We're going to call it decorative. This one is decorative. I do not wear a visor because my voice is loud. And when I've put this helmet on, it echoes beyond all belief. So there are people on my team that use them because it's easier for them to see. I guess, I don't know. They're not really allowed very well, at least the stylish ones, in our league. And they aren't in a lot of leagues. But, some people still like to have their visors because it's like wearing your sunglasses at night. It's not about functionality, it's about style and fashion. Vibe XS, what position do you play? Middle linebacker. Also asked again, but also responded, cool, same. Posted the question twice, probably because they posted it and they didn't show up right away on the YouTube video, so they asked it again, thinking it would just air it out. Perfectly honest mistake. Do you have any cleats I can have, please, man? That was on Monday's video. I have cleats for me, and I'm not shipping free stuff over the ocean. I'm sorry. To people I don't know. Like, I'll ship free candy and like the good chocolate, not the stuff that's not the stuff that tastes like puke, to people in the United States. But I'm not shipping random cleats that are size 46 to people in the States that probably only wear a size 39. Smelly Small Guy has a couple comments. Same video says, nice heart, thanks fire. It was me. He also asks on, there's a couple other ones. Dawned on me this morning that he says he loves the verity of stuff. Dawned on me this morning while I was listening to some linguistic stuff on TikTok. Variety. He meant variety. But the video's already up and posted. I can't really change what I said in yesterday's video, but I was so confused. But yes, the variety of stuff, yes. That's on my initial thoughts of the NFL. There's another question involving that. Ice Knight, longtime subscriber, were QBs able to take hits better back then, pre-2000s, or were the new guidelines and awareness of the league about concussion a bit too protective of players now? We're going to go into that one later. I put in a little comment that kind of spurred a little bit more of me thinking about stuff and talking stuff. So, again, there are stuff below. You can go to the rushing the passer and all that jazz section if you're not interested in anything about the Panthers and their switcheroo. Okay, so moving on to news. There's not much dealing with like the Hurricanes and the AFBM. We had a previous meeting and that barfed up a lot of information, but things are still not sorted out. There is a future combined practice coming up. I've heard rumors on that one. For us, we're probably also going to have a preseason game at some point. I don't know when. It's usually for rookies, but as we have almost no linebackers at this point, I won't be able to take the time off to rest the finger. So it'll be all tons of painkillers and super padded gloves. But we still don't know a schedule. We don't know what teams are even going to be in Eredivisie. So that's fun. Now remember, for those of you, if you look up Eredivisie for the Netherlands, you're going to get the League of Football, soccer, for the Netherlands, with like the Ajax and PSV and all those various things. You have to look up Eredivisie, Eredivisie, American football, or just go to afbn.nl. That'll show you too. But the general idea in the Dutch sports world is that Eredivisie is the top league. So if you are at the top league of your sport, you're playing in the Eredivisie. It's the prime league sort of thing. It's the top league of that sport, whether it be korfball or football, American football, honkball, anything. They maybe for honkball they might do a little bit different. And there's not many leagues for Vleerjappen. So whatever, that's a thing. But anyways, moving on to the Panthers. Now moving on to the Carolina Panthers, not to be confused with the Amsterdam Panthers. So the moment I saw a bunch of people posting pictures of the stadium, Panther Stadium, for a home game, and the fact that the United States is even more scoffing of any sort of disease regulations, than other countries, and they were in like 1/3 full. I was like, it doesn't really matter. Like, they posted those pictures like, wow, guys, this is a home game. So I was like, I even posted on Twitter. It doesn't matter almost. Like, you can be kind of an okay coach, and you can be, like, people were complaining about Matt Rula for a while, but like nothing was really happening for stuff. And then all of a sudden, the bottom line of the ticket prices and the attendance and the stadium's bottom line and the teams, all that stuff, you hit him in the wallet. That got rid of Matt Rula the next day. It's one of those things where you're just like, oh man, do you really have to hit him in the wallet? Watch. People stop attending games, just one game, and boom, bye-bye. It was sort of like, it wasn't the thing that sent it was the thing that broke the camel's back, is when people were noticing how little attendance there was in the game, for not even like a super busy, weekend. When I mean busy, is like people doing other things. Like, how many people, well, okay, it's a lot, but that's American football in the United States, in the South. People will go to a football game on Christmas Day. So, in fact, there may be more attendance on an actual holiday, but whatever. So, that's been going on. The coach is out. I'm not sure. There was something about Baker Mayfield. So, Kuechly visited the practice field yesterday. Looks like Steve Wilkes is taking over the position of the head coach. I think he was the assistant head coach. I don't really know. I don't pay attention to the management level of stuff. Just like coach and then the main players. I mainly just watch a game to watch an actual football game. And then there was also Baker Mayfield had left the field walking in a boot. But that could just be precaution. I know numerous times that I've left a doctor's office with like a boot and whatnot, and I wound up donating it to like Goodwill or something because I really didn't need it after a while. It just helped hold my foot in place for like a couple days. Or it was just, hey, sleep in this so that I'm not like twisting around or like doing weird things with my foot, and it just holds it in the resting position. I know that McCaffrey's been holding off on some injuries. Like, he's still in, and that's good, run game and all, but it's just, whew. So now we're moving on to the roughing the passer. And as a middle linebacker, with blitz, with roughing the passer as a middle linebacker, I can get it called on me. Probably not really a thing. It's more of a defensive end sort of thing, but you never know. With like two of our guys open up the thing and I get through and we don't really get called for it here in the Netherlands because they're a little bit more lax, and while the judges know the rules, they don't necessarily, like, some of them are experienced referees here, but it's still sort of, they play and they they have played and they watch football externally. Like, in the United States, you almost live American football. Here, it's a sport that one plays. So you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, that looks good. That's a rough thing. But getting down to the actual technicalities, and just like Ice Knight brought up, is this with the new concussion sort of thing? Here's this is my issue, is that with roughing the passer, especially the one on Brady, which was honestly just whiny white boy stuff. Like, I watched that video so many times in slow motion that he was going to throw, and it would have been the whole tuck rule thing for Brady, but he pulled it in and he had the ball like this. He didn't have the ball like this. He had it like this, and he was running. He had officially turned into a runner in my mind, and he got grabbed on the waist and thrown down. I've done that to running backs. and I do not get roughing the runner. I've done it to receivers. I did it years ago in the States to Danny. And he literally got up and thanked me. Like, that's just, because DBs, I wasn't trying to be a DB at the time, never really tackled him like that, and he liked playing football. No, I mean, he liked being a receiver. He didn't really like being touched, but when he was touched, it was sort of invigorating. It was, like I explained earlier, if you, like, getting tackled and getting thrown to the ground sometimes can be invigorating, but if you don't like it really all the time, maybe stay away from the center of the field. But, so like roughing the passer, the thing with Tom Brady was he was excessively thrown to the ground. Whatever. There's film somewhere. I'm not sure if it caught it very well, or if we were even filming. We were doing crew Seders at home, and that was after a fashion. I went off on that game. Like, first defense drive, me got a pick, and I ran it back like 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, because I caught it on the, anyways. That was just for another time. And then later in that, I had to go out and be injured because my entire left leg was thing. But I grabbed the running back and I threw him down to the point where I flipped over him, and he and I landed on each other. And he rolled a little bit. I saw it on the film. I saw what Aaron did. It wasn't good, but if I know what I'm looking for, I can spot it. And so Aaron was filming, and you could definitely see that the running back rolled a couple times because I threw him to the ground that hard. And I did not get roughing the runner. But when you do that to the quarterback, especially Tom Brady, it becomes roughing the passer. And there are numerous other things that have been going on with the NFL with, like, defenseless receiver. And as I told Ice Knight, I think that they're getting a little overzealous with the term defenseless. I do understand after a fashion that, like, when a receiver is at the height of his jump and catching the ball and then immediately gets tackled, that's a defenseless receiver because we don't fly. So he can't effectively dodge in the middle of the air. But there have been other times where he's like, oh, he wasn't even looking. That's his fault for not looking. Like, there's a narrow idea of defenseless, and then there's what they're expanding it out to, and they're getting overzealous with, and they're starting to make weird calls, and some of them are called back and some of them are not. I saw clips on Twitter from previous game, not sure if it was preseason or whatnot, but like the ref, the receiver caught the ball and in the process kind of tripped, and it was called pass interference because the corner touched the receiver in an improper manner and, like, blocked him and threw him off balance, and he tripped while catching the ball, and it was not intended to, it was whatever. In that they replayed it. I think it was preseason because it was messed up, but it was like the corner was never touched. The receiver literally just tripped. But, like, the refs are getting a little overzealous with some of their stuff, and I've seen it sometimes watching the games. At least last year, it was like, oh my god, you do not need to call a penalty every play. It says here for roughing the passer, the one thing that's getting me a little bit irked is not so much that Brady, was a whiny little and got thrown down and didn't really like being thrown around like a rag doll. Right here it says, when tackling a passer who is in a defenseless posture, e.g. during or just after throwing a pass, which Tom Brady was not in, a defensive player must not unnecessarily or violently throw him down or land on top of him with all or most of the defender's weight. Instead, the defensive player must strive to wrap up the passer with the defensive player's arms and not land on the passer with all or most of his body weight. So in one case, he did go for the wrap up and not land on him, but he threw him down too hard. And this is operations.nfl.com. I'm looking at the actual, rules here. And in the other case, with the Chiefs, he landed on him with all his weight. 98% of his weight. I think there was a pinky touching the ground. So not on them. But it was just would it have been that big a deal if it was someone like Von Miller, a little smaller person than like, a Samoan or, a big guy landing on the quarterback? And then they're showing that Tom Brady attempted to kick the defender after being thrown to the ground. Yeah, here it is. It's the Chiefs with the Raiders. And he ran into the backside. How can it be roughing the passer when he never threw the pass and lost the ball? Yeah, Derek Carr never actually threw the ball. It's still, boom. It comes back and it gets batted out of his hand. And the defender, number 95, 95s are never small guys, just comes up from behind and does a backside tackle and lands on him. It's stupid as... and part of it is like, is it in the rules? Yes, it's right there. You go to Roughing the Passer, NFL video rule book. It says rule summary, shows you a video, view the official rule, click. You can go to B. It's all listed in there. A defensive player is prohibited from clubbing the arm of the passer during a pass or just after a pass has been thrown. However, a defensive player may grasp, pull, or otherwise make normal contact with the passer's arm in an attempt to tackle him. Did Tom Brady write these rules? These are roughly the same rules that we have. We use NCAA rules, which are a little less, but... yeah, here's the actual, download a printable PDF of the of the 2022 NFL rulebook. But yeah, I'm going to put a link below to this actual Roughing the Passer thing so you guys can go click it and read it for yourself. But it's the problem with is in A. It says roughing will be called if, in the referee's judgment, a pass rusher clearly should have known that the ball had already left the passer's hand, which in neither case it had, per se. He was either in the back here to pass it, or in Tom Brady's case, he pulled it in front and started to run with it. To me, Tom Brady qualified as a runner at that point. He had no intention of throwing the ball. He pulled it into a running thing. He could have pulled it back out if he'd gotten out to the flats enough. And it's been known to do that. Quarterbacks do that. But he tucked it under as a run. He wasn't running it. He wasn't running like this. He was running like this. And it's... and this is just rushing the passer is going to happen. Rushing the passer is just going to happen. This is the season for it. A couple seasons ago was... pass interference, pass interference, all the pass interference. So yeah, I'm gonna stop this here. I don't like it. I've done it myself, and it's not really futzed on anything. But yeah, I'm gonna head off to practice here. Well, I have to go to the doctor first, and then come back, and then I'll get ready for practice. So I may or may not be doing anything at practice, depending on what the doctor says about my anxiety, adrenaline problems, and maybe if they order me not to do anything with my finger.